If I was going to purchase property in 2025 as a first-time buyer, this is the video that I'd want to watch first so that I can get a firm understanding of what the real estate process is going to look like prior to even sitting down with a real estate professional. If we haven't already had the pleasure of meeting, my name's Kelsey. I'm a real estate professional here in Victoria, British Columbia. I work in a real estate team with my mom, and she's mentored me to become the real estate agent that I am today. And ultimately, when I got into real estate, my goal was to help others be empowered in their real estate journeys, whether that's buying or selling property. If it's your first home, if it's your 15th home, my goal is for you to be as educated as possible, to be able to make the decisions that feel right for you, and to get you home. Buying property is a little bit more than seeing a house that you like and putting an offer in it and congratulations, you own a home. Particularly, what does the first-time home buying process look like? It's a little bit more nuanced, and there is going to be quite a few steps that are involved. Today, I want to go through those steps that any given person will likely go through in a real estate transaction to give you a broad sense of what the real estate transaction looks like so you're well prepared with a little bit of information even before you sit down in front of your realtor. Ultimately, the goal here is not to make you feel like a real estate expert, but so you have some of the core competencies so that when it is time for that initial consultation, you at least know what the process is going to look like. If you like learning about real estate, whether you're a home buyer or a home seller, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a part of our community. We put out new videos every week about real estate in the greater Victoria area. We would love to have you as a part of our community. So thank you for following along, and let's get into it. As I mentioned, buying a house has many steps, and I like to think about it in phases. When we think about the real estate process in phases and what particular phase you're currently in, it makes it a little bit easier to digest rather than thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much more I need to do before this transaction is actually finished. Your first step is going to be a pre-qualification. And I'm not talking about going online, putting a few numbers into a simulator and it telling you a random number that you can afford. This isn't the most accurate way to get an understanding of what you can actually afford when it comes to purchasing real estate, because it's not looking at some of the core factors that a mortgage professional, like a mortgage specialist or a mortgage broker, is going to look at. And if you're ever looking for a recommendation with a mortgage specialist or a mortgage broker, I would be happy to refer you to one of the great ones that we like to work with. So when you sit down with a mortgage broker, they're going to look at your employment history, your credit score, your credit information, your bank statements, and so much more to get a really firm understanding of what you can afford. It looks at a few of these factors and even some more so that you have a better understanding of a ballpark range of what you can afford, also known as your budget. Your next step is going to have a buyer consultation with a realtor. If you're in the greater Victoria area on Vancouver Island, I would love to be your real estate agent. And if you ever have questions about real estate, you can always reach out to me. If you're looking to move somewhere across Canada as a RE/MAX agent, we have an expansive network of trusted professionals that I'd be happy to recommend to you. So if you ever have real estate questions about a professional to work with across the country, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. When you sit down with a real estate agent, it's going to look different in every situation. So it's difficult to get really into the nitty-gritty of what that looks like. But speaking in broad terms, when you sit down with an agent, they're going to talk about everything from what your budget is to what your desired areas are, your wants versus your needs, what your current lifestyle looks like, what your requirements are for your current lifestyle, and so much more. Our goal here is to get a really firm understanding of what your ideal home will look like. We want to have that conversation early, whether that's a few weeks or a few months even, sometimes even years prior to actually making a purchase so that we can create a strategy that works best for you and you can feel comfortable in your home buying process. Once we've had that buyer consultation, we then set you up on an automated email search portal where we put your criteria into the multiple listing service and we send you real estate listings so that you are getting them automated and you're only getting sent properties that meet your criteria. Some circumstances, people will have a very broad criteria for their search portal, and in some cases, it'll be extremely specific. When you have a search portal, it's going to look different again for every real estate agent, but at least for me, something that happens is you can write notes to me, you can favorite properties, you can discard properties, and we can communicate because it's sent directly to you, and I'm the only one who's going to see it. The next step you're going to encounter is viewing properties with your realtor. Think of it like a fun shopping trip with your favorite advisor. This is an important part in the home buying process because while a picture says 1,000 words, viewing a property in person is going to tell you a million things. And it is going to answer a lot of questions you may have while looking at a property in your search portal or online. You can start to envision what your life living in that property would look like, whether that's envisioning your furniture in the space, what you would do with the space, or if you need to completely refurnish renovations, you can see what work needs to be done. So you've gotten your pre-qualification, you've had a buyer consultation, you're on your search portal, and you've viewed properties. And let's say hypothetically, you have found the one. That's super exciting. You tell me that you want to write an offer. As a realtor, we write the contract and negotiate on your behalf. And in British Columbia, we have something called fiduciary duty. And this means that we have to work in the best interests of our clients. So that means confidentiality, working in your best interests, avoiding conflicts of interest, and sharing all material facts in regards to the transaction. So we use those core values to help you get your home. When we write the contract, we handle the administrative side of things. We also negotiate with the listing agent, and we try to find the best value. Now, I'm speaking very broad here, and that's because I can't really give you individual advice here on the internet. If you'd like to book that buyer consultation to get you set up, reach out to us on our website at woollyrealestategroup.com, or my email is on the bottom of the description in this video. You can always shoot us an email for all your real estate inquiries. We would love to hear from you. So your realtor has written the contract, negotiated for you. We've had a lot of really productive conversations. At this point, an accepted offer has been achieved. In a contract of purchase and sale, something you may see are subject conditions, and you may be wondering, what even is that? So subject conditions are subject tos, things that have to happen in order for the contract to materialize. So this can look like many different things. Subject conditions in a contract are safeguards so that you can do your due diligence prior to a contract becoming unconditional or seen as firm. As a realtor, we're able to guide you through those processes and give you an understanding of what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and how to conduct that process. Once subject conditions have been fulfilled, then subjects are removed. Once the subject conditions have been fulfilled, there are two things that could happen. Subject conditions fulfilled means that we have done our due diligence, everything has happened, and they are being removed. Alternatively, if the subject condition period does not go well and subjects aren't removed, then the contract will collapse. Once subjects have been fulfilled, you may hear of the deposit being due. The deposit is due within a specific time frame, and it will be written within the contract. So, it's going to depend very situationally. And it does have to be liquid cash within that time frame. So, for example, if your down payment is in RSPs or other forms of investments that are not necessarily easy to get to, and you're unable to provide that deposit within the specific time frame, what will happen is the contract will collapse and contract no more, it's gone. Once the deposit's been received, the transaction shifts from a conditional contract to unconditional, also known as a firm contract. This means that the contract is now seen as sold pending closing and adjustments and possession. What does closing mean? Well, closing is when the property ownership shifts from the seller to the buyer in the land title office. What that means is that the ownership is transferring. The seller is no longer the owner, and the buyer becomes the registered owner on title. Starting to put together that this is a very large team. It's more than just a realtor. It's more than just you. There's also mortgage brokers, lawyers, conveyancers, and so much more that goes into a real estate buying process. When you meet with your chosen lawyer, there's going to be a statement of adjustments, and these are the funds that are due on closing. And you're probably thinking, whoa, Kelsey, what do you mean? The list price is the list price, that should be what I pay. But when we look at a list price of a property, there's actually added fees that go on top, or taxes, for example. One of the biggest ones is property transfer tax, and this is in British Columbia specifically. Property transfer tax is applicable to most residential property, and there are some circumstances where it doesn't apply, so talk to your real estate professional about what transactions are applicable and what aren't. When we talk about property transfer tax, it's going to be 1% on the first $200,000, 2% on the amount following $200,000 up to $2 million, and then it goes up from there. If you're a first-time buyer, you're probably not buying a $3 million property, so that 1 and 2% is most likely going to be what you incur, and this is due upon closing. Additional fees that you may incur in British Columbia include outstanding property taxes, lawyer fees, and there are a couple more there which are going to ebb and flow based on each transaction. Once ownership has transferred, this means you are a homeowner, and the natural next step is possession, which means you are now taking ownership of your new home. Your realtor will do a walkthrough with you so that we can do a final walkthrough, you get orientated with your new home, and you get to settle in. At this point in the video, you're probably feeling pretty overwhelmed, and I totally get that. It's a lot of information. So save this video, subscribe to our channel, and you can rewatch this video as many times as you need. If you have questions about your specific situation, please reach out. We'd be so happy to help you in the Greater Victoria area. Now, we're talking very broad again here in this video. We're not talking about specifics to your individual situation. As realtors, we cannot create agency without having that conversation first. If you want to work with us, I would love to be your realtor. It's ultimately my goal to help others in the Victoria real estate region and help people achieve their real estate goals. So if you ever have real estate questions in Victoria, BC, please reach out. We would be so happy to hear from you. I'm Kelsey Woolley with Woolley Real Estate Group here in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia. Talk soon and take care.